Welcome to Sustainably Speaking Africa, a podcast about reshaping narratives around sustainability and climate action in Africa. This podcast is brought to you by the Kenya Climate Innovation Centre and is made at Semabox. Join us for this and other episodes as we talk to industry leaders, frontline communities, and the innovators who are accelerating the progress towards a greener, sustainable future. Welcome again to Sustainably Speaking, and as always, please like, share, and subscribe.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Sustainably Speaking Africa. Today we're joined by Lennox Omondi, HSC, who is the founder and CEO of EcoBana Limited, a company that has innovated and brought about sanitary towels made of banana fiber. And we'll discuss more about that. Karibu sana to the podcast.
Thank you.
Where did this all begin?
Well, the idea of probably creating menstrual pads which are biodegradable from banana fibers started way back when I was still in the university. Mm-hmm. So I think normally the way students, you meet up and say, let's do a charity program. So we decided to take a trip up north in a school called Moi Girls in Marsabit. Okay. But when we went there, a number of girls were not in school that time. And we couldn't understand. I think probably the ladies who were with us on the trip did understand. Mm. But to us men, most of us said, including myself, let's just go back then and come back when the ladies are in school so that we can give everybody the stationery that we came with. And then that time it didn't really hit me that much that there's a big challenge that girls are experiencing. And so later that year when Professor Magoa was announcing the results of Class 8 students, about 2,000 of girls who sat for the examinations that year didn't get to finish. Mm-hmm. And so that is when it really, caught my attention. Not that much, because it was also trending on Twitter at that time, and we were transitioning to a period of COVID as well. Yeah. So there was much free time at my disposal, and so I was just like another Kenyan, tweeting, looking at who is who. They are saying that most politicians are, quote unquote, going away with money or funds meant for the menstrual hygiene product. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't understand the landscape of why that is happening. And so just the more I was doing research about why girls don't have access to menstrual products, I realized there is much more bigger problem than just going to the shop to purchase a menstrual pad. Mm-hmm. And so the first thing I did was to purchase one. And I think I remember quite vividly when I went to purchase the first pad, I was very, scared because I bought it. And then from the distance from the shelf where the pad was to the counter was quite long. And so I carried the pad like this. And I was going there, waiting for people to leave because there was a huge line in the supermarket. And I was kind of waiting for everybody to go. If I go and find a huge line, I would go back, pretend I want to pick something else. And I managed to buy the pad, went home and looked at it and said, I quite still can't understand why this something so basic to a lot of girls is very life-changing and means a lot to them. And so I started to understand what are the components that make a pad. Because I was thinking of, and I think at the same time as well, I had a group of friends and we were mostly going out to attend business events. And every time we go out, we listen to people talk about their stories of the startups they're building, the businesses they're building. And myself, I was just like, I'm just here. Let me listen to these people. Let them inspire me. And I started looking at ways of which, how could I be one of these people who sit on the stage and say the things that they are doing. And so because I was not doing anything related to business or startups, I didn't understand or know anything in regards to startups or anything. Okay. So I started learning on YouTube, mostly even just Google how people pitch their businesses, how entrepreneurs talk about startups, what is a startup, what is it made of. And I reached a point where I decided and said that we cannot bring a solution like those of an NGO. And I'm not having any bad blood with NGOs. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, in my opinion, that time, I was looking at it as if we have the same model where you pick up menstrual products, or you get funds and then buy the menstrual products. You go to a school this month, and the next 2 to 3 months you're not able to go. It's not sustainable. And for somebody like a girl who is primarily waiting for somebody to bring the menstrual products, it's not sustainable to them. And then they lose hours of education as well. So I looked at something that can benefit everybody. And in this time, everybody, I looked at a household. So we took a household and said, if there is a farmer in this house, there's a mother and there's a daughter that they have, how can we build a solution that is able to empower each and everyone in this house? And so I said, if you're able to get something, and quote unquote, we looked at it from the point of Kenya having our backbone on agriculture. So we assumed that the parents are farmers. And so we said, if the farmers can bring something that we are able to repurpose and to make a product that their daughter, who is in the same house, is able to use, then we would have achieved something called circular economy. And so the research on banana fiber started. And when I was starting the research of banana fibers, I think I had around 15 or 20 people as a group. I think we were just very joyous, and we are happy that there's a new idea coming out in town. And I think we met up each and every weekend, every Sunday, and it's very difficult to convince university students to meet you every Sunday. There's no food. That is one of the biggest determinants whether you are going to have a successful event or not. To help me in extracting the fibers with our hands, we found a number of farmers who were able to come in the very early stages. And so the more we were putting in the work, we got blisters, and most people went away because getting the fibers with your hands alone, it's quite a job. And so we remained 4 of us, and that's myself, my CFO Dula, my CMO Brian, and Kylie, who's the only female in the executive lead. So it was quite challenging to bring up a solution as men, I think. And in my opinion, that time we were being called pad boys in uni. You're about to graduate, and somebody in first year or second year calls you a pad boy.
Pad boy.
You'll feel bad, yeah. So we felt bad, but at the end of the day, we were saying to ourselves that we are onto something great, something which might be life-changing. And so we looked at banana fibers as not just an agricultural waste or a byproduct, but as something that we can use to change a particular problem in the community, but also to be able to transform a new industry. And so that is how EcoBana Limited was formed, solely based on ending period poverty in Africa and providing other circular economy initiatives alongside it. And yeah, so that's how it is. And I think by 2022, we managed to get our first funding from the Kenya Climate Innovation Center, which was about $9,000, and we managed to prove the concept with it. Not so good part that I would say I'm proud of now. I was proud of it then. It was, when we made it, there was that when you have your eureka moment. So a eureka moment when we made the first part. I think right now we look back and say that's the part that we made. we are very ashamed of what we made now.
You do better as you know better.
And then later that year we got funding of about $1 million from the Hal Price Foundation in the US, and moved out 2023. We went to Kisii to start building the solution to life. We were not able to do that the whole of 2023. It was quite hectic. There was no machinery in Kenya that was able to use fibers to make pads. So we had to work with the Chinese manufacturer for about 7 months. Then 2024 we started built our manufacturing facility, finished in August, launched in September, got the first staff again in August as well, and then we closed the year in 2024. Then at 2025, operation starting. And as we started 2025, we realized that most girls still are not able to afford a whole packet of this pad. And so we introduced a second innovation called the EcoBana Sanitary Pad ATM, where girls are able to get pads on the go. So we installed these pad ATMs in schools, universities, hotels like this one, and public spaces for girls and even women now to have access to biodegradable and menstrual products on the go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious to the research and development part of your work.
Right.
Apart from banana fiber, had you thought of anything else?
Yes. The mycelium value in fibers is quite interesting, and if in my opinion, if we were good farmers or we were planting bamboo in like large scale and it wasn't very expensive, it would be something that we could have considered as the primary raw material. But then you look at bamboo in Kenya, it's not commonly grown, and the ones you find in the market, people use bamboo for different purposes, and it's very expensive. And so bamboo was out of the way. Wood pulp was something else, which was quite interesting. The only problem with wood pulp was the reliability part of it.
Okay.
Because in Kenya, you cut down one tree, you plant two. And also we were not going to be an eco-friendly company. At the same time, we are cutting down trees to make a product. So that again was out of the way. And then banana fibers, interestingly, was quite the raw material, because looking at circular economy models, farmers, after they harvest the banana fruit, the trunk is just left rot on the ground. And so it was a perfect raw material to utilize and to make the biodegradable parts. And the mycelium value in itself has around 90% absorption rate, which is far more better to make a menstrual product. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's switch gears a bit and go to preparing to pitch
Right.
to KCIC specifically.
Right.
How was that journey?
It was difficult. It was challenging, at the same time insightful,
Okay.
because that was the third pitch
Okay.
that we made live. There is those scenarios where we were pitching online. It's very different when you're pitching online, because I can read the pitch to the judges who are listening. And then now there's a scenario where you are competing against, I think there were around 400 teams to win the first prize. And so I think they say where preparation meets, I don't know what.
Luck.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we prepared, went in for the first pitch, then we made the first pitch, and then we were shortlisted as a finalist now on the second day to pitch. There was a lot of things, because that was for me, it was the first time I'm pitching physically, countering judges, answering questions on finance. I'm not a finance major. Answering questions on manufacturing, which I knew how the process goes. I think there is something I've learned as a founding team.
Okay.
You can found something, but you don't necessarily have to know everything in it. So you know how it works, but you don't know the nitty-gritties of how that happens. And for a successful pitch as well, the way KCSE wanted it was to mirror out climate-smart solutions. And so we had not only to just put the pitch to reflect the objectives of KCIC, but also to bring out the concept of circular economy, and that we also solve, apart from just having a climate smart solution, we're also solving a different problem. And so we had to find a nexus between connecting the two. How do we position ourselves as a climate smart company, and also say that we are solving this period poverty problem in a different sector as well? So yeah.
Okay. So now you've pitched and you've managed to get yourself in the door.
Right.
What has the journey been like with KCIC? What did they support with? What challenges did you meet as you were developing this product?
KCIC have been very instrumental because they provided us with the business expert. So I think after every 2 months, after every 2 months, we were having calls.
Okay.
Not just calls to do reporting on the progress, but also just to understand the nature of the business. Because it's one thing pitching a business model on a slide deck.
Yeah.
It's another when you go on ground and start working and realize that the model doesn't work the way you wanted it. And so with KCSE, they've been quite instrumental to help us pivot our model. One, also available opportunities for more investor engagements,
Okay.
and also with our relations. They made us get relations with the Switzerland embassy in Nairobi as part of the first investors as well. And so, apart from just business mentorship, incubation, like accelerator programs or investor readiness meetings or events, they've been quite instrumental and shaped how we've viewed or built quotes in quote successful climate smart solution here in Kenya. Yeah.
Okay. You had earlier mentioned that machinery to remove the fiber from bananas was a bit difficult. That's one of the challenges that you've experienced.
Yes.
How fast did you solve that, and what other challenges have you experienced thus far?
Yeah. Well, we were not able to get a reliable fabricating or decapitating machine to remove the fibers because it was very challenging with what our Jua Kali men can do. It can work for a week, then in the next 4 weeks or 2 weeks, you are in repairs and buying spare parts from one end to the other. So it was quite challenging, very unreliable. So what we did was, I think, first was to secure more funding because the funding that we got from Kenya Climate was enabling us just to prove a concept that, guys, we don't just have an idea on paper. We've tried, we've worked on something, it's working, this is it. With more funding, can scale it to the next level. And so when we got funding from the Hull Prize Foundation later in September, because funding from KCSE we got in 19th May 2022, and then we got funding from Hull Prize on the 22nd of September. So it allowed us to really, now look for better machinery. And the first option was to outsource from China as well. So that was not how fast we did it, but at least that is the route we took to look for more funding to get better, improve machinery from outside the country. Yeah. Then other challenges that we've encountered so far, even through the initial stages, was just that business acumen. Who do you trust with what? Because it reaches a point as an entrepreneur, everybody advises you. You get advice from me. This person is telling you, don't trust this and this. The other person is telling you, trust that and that. It's just a lot. Information is bombarding you from every center, and with a reliable and even a consulting partner like KCIC, it was easy to say, this is what we want to do for communication, so this is what we want to do for marketing. What are some of the things that have worked, or what are some of the things that you've seen working for early stage entrepreneurs like us? It was quite easy to reach out for help, for at least from a trusted source, than from somebody just sending you an email and saying, I can be a very good advisor, I know this, I've done this, and it was quite a lot. I think another thing was just market approach. Building a new product in Kenya is one thing, introducing it to the market is another. And it was, I think even now it's quite a challenge. These are quite a sensitive product that we are building, and conversations around menstrual pads or menstrual hygiene as a whole has been quite different in this country. And so for us, we encountered a number of problems. One is different segments of women or girls, and their reaction to the product was different. There are people who, for them, they just want a pad that can do the job. There are some who are environmental conscious and say, if that is something that is going to be to biodegrade, I would like to use it. And then there are people who, the term even biodegradable, they've never heard of it. And so it enabled us to really pivot our marketing strategies, pivot our social impact strategies as well, to really fit in different areas that we are going to. If we go to places where people don't even care whether the pad has been made from what, whether it's good or not, we just tell them the benefits of the product, if they use it, the new things, the features that it has that the other products that don't have, like zero leaks, no chemicals, no plastic at all as well. And then it was at least somebody will now learn later, the pad is biodegradable, it's made from banana fibers. And then there are people who know what it means to have an eco-conscious or to be eco-conscious. And then we'll tell them now, this is a biodegradable product, and they will buy. So breaking down that information to different segments of of our users was also quite a challenge, because for us, we thought all girls know that pads are pads. They will use them. And I think that was an assumption that we made, which we shouldn't have made. And so we had to also say that to ourselves, okay, then this is what the ground is saying. So we'll go back and restructure how we want to create awareness on the same product. Yeah. I think something else, the challenge was transport, which transport both on raw materials and also on transporting the product,
food,
the finished product. Because we were in Nairobi initially, but we decided to go to Kisii because of the raw material, access to raw material, and other lot of factors that that are good for the business to grow. And so for transport, when we went to Kisii now, it was easy for us to get the raw material to make the product. But now a new problem posed itself. Most of our clients were in Nairobi. So we were not able to, you would call us and we'll tell you, on top of what you're going to pay for the product, pay 300 bob for us to transport it to Nairobi for you. And that was quite, irritating to a number of clients. It's like, you guys are not ready to sell it to me. And so we had to also look at how do we bring it more closer to everybody. Because the initial idea, or in my mind, it was not to go to the shelves. I've never liked the idea of selling products from the shelves. From 2 points. One, for social impact wise, not everybody will go to those shelves and buy it. Another is that being on the shelves would in a way question why the company was started. But we, along the way, we realized that there's a thin line between financial stability and social impact. And so to achieve financial stability, we have to sell. We have to go on the shelves. We have to do this and that. And then we decided now to form a EcoBana Foundation to purely work on social impact. So we have a number of shops in CBD, town, Nairobi. We also partnered with Total Energies, which also invested some money. And in every Bonju shop around in Kenya, all our pads are found in the Bonju shops. So those are two ways in which we decided to work on the issue of availability or accessibility of the menstrual products. Yes. Another challenge, access to funding. I think we still need more funding to scale. Yeah.
We need to talk about access to funding. As you're saying, you need more funding. You've also been very successful and gotten funding multiple times from different people. You've just come back from London to pitch, and I'm pretty sure you got some funding from there. But how considering very many startups really fail before they get funding.
Yes.
They might have gotten funding for proof of concept, like you did with KCIC. But then when it comes to now scaling or marketing, and getting the product to the people, to the users, becomes a bit difficult. But much as definitely there's need for more funding, you've been successful in some ways and have gotten funding. I want you to tell us more about how you've tried, since that's the word you've used.
So with funding, it's quite challenging. I think an assumption that maybe startups or companies have is that once you get a huge grant or a huge investment, they're going to follow you. But when that sentiment is true and also not true. For us, what have worked for us is just positioning quite well, because you look at when we launched EcoBana in 2022, a number of conversations were going on. Conversations around sustainability were quite rapid, not only just in Kenya, but also in Africa and across the world. And so it was good positioning. And then the same time, we're talking about 65% of Kenya girls and women still don't have access to menstrual products. And so for us, it's been just quite good positioning, and also just knowing who is our person, who is our guy, because there's a lot of investment pools, and if you don't really know what those investors are funding or what they're looking for, you'll constantly be getting no, and no. And so for us, we evaluate and look at, if we want to approach this investor, what are the primary objectives that they're seeking to to invest in, or which companies have they invested in before, and what are some of the things that they really uphold dear to their heart. And then we find a way of positioning ourselves to the things that they're looking for. Which has worked. I think that has worked for us, to really just position ourselves and to know what the investors want, what they're looking for, and what do they fund in the startups that they're looking for. Which has worked. And also referrals from former funders. KCSC have invited us to a number of forums where there are investments, and we got the total investment through also KCSC. The announcement was done during the launch of the SWIFT program, which is also another funding opportunity as well, but it wasn't relating to us. It was a waste one. It was a waste funding opportunity. But then we took another route and decided to take the Total Energies route, and still got funding at the same time. So referrals as well, good relations with the investment companies. Once we've worked together, we'll do our best to really make sure that we uphold the integrity from the investor, so that they can refer us to and also during customer service week, we will bring you sweets. We'll bring some sweets and some cake, so that you feel part of what we are building. You feel like you not only just, you don't just know us. I know EcoBana, but you feel part of the family. You feel part of the solution that we are building. So that's how we've tried
managed
to.
it. Fantastic.
Yes.
You mentioned something about waste and the SWIFT program. I don't want to go too much into that, but then in the course of producing the pads, I'm sure there's waste.
Yes.
And you had mentioned circular economy earlier. How do you manage that situation?
Well, I would say probably we're the only company in Kenya, that the one I know, at least I know EcoBana, we are the only company in Kenya that we don't have waste. We have zero waste, because there's like, when we rip the fibers, there's a mixture of small in like pulpish and some water or juice made squeezed from the trunk, which are still being repurposed to fertilizers. So in our partnership with the county government of Kisii, that is one of the things we do together with them. We give them that, and then they make fertilizers. And then not all the fibers we get also goes directly into processing for the pads. The harder fibers, we use them to make mats, we make carpets, we make lampshades, we make lampshades, mats, carpets, table mats, picnic mats. Yes. Yeah. So those we make using the fibers that remain.
All right. Fantastic. Final question as we wrap up.
All right.
What is your dream for EcoBana?
So I think in the next, let's say maybe 10 years, we look back and we'll say that we've reduced period poverty maybe by not even a huge margin. A huge margin will be a lot. Let's say maybe 10 or 15%. I would have felt the need of why the company was started, and we'll have done our part in ending period poverty as we continue to do that. At the same time, I'm looking at it as an African climate tech company, and we're looking at valuations close to a lot of numbers.
Many zeros.
Many zeros. And that would happen, and I would say has started happening, because earlier in July, we introduced something called white labeling. And white labeling, we are doing white labeling for companies who are not able to, who have the resources, but not enough resources to produce their own menstrual products, which are biodegradable. And since we've been certified by the Kenya Bureau of Standards, we are able to manufacture for another company. And we are doing so with a company in Ghana, Rwanda, Congo, Nigeria, Mauritius. Who else? Yeah, those ones. So that is part of our scaling plan to do white labeling across Africa. and at the same time, it allows us to introduce our products in different markets because the label goes with the different brand, but written manufactured by EcoBana Limited. So that allows us to also explore different markets and see how different models play out. And so the dream is to ensure that not only EcoBana is in different countries, but the sole purpose of why it's created is still met, which is to end period poverty across Africa. We'll also continue to advance our programs in EcoBana Foundation for access to menstrual pads through the pad ATM. Programs that we run in the foundation through One Pad, One Girl initiative, through male inclusion programs that ensure that men are accountable and they're involved in conversations around menstrual hygiene management. Yes.
Okay. Good stuff. That sounds interesting and ambitious.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the funding, on the expansion, on being in multiple countries. As a Kenyan and a user of pads, we are very proud of you and we'll continue doing that.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
And thank you so much to our viewers for tuning in. We'll see you in the next episode.